Good morning, guys. We are here back at Kiyoki. Gunshots in the background. It's normal. So we're not doing the AC boxes today. I figured I'd go ahead and just show you guys more of the stuff that's around the yard while that's kind of going on in the background. So we'll just jumped right into it and go check some stuff out.
Okay, so the first vehicle we have here is a 1990 Nissan 240SX. It is a convertible. The plans with this car is to kind of create like an old Trans Am race car. So I went ahead and bought a JP Fiberglass Daytona kit. It is extremely wide. I'm gonna go for 15 by 10 or 15 by 11 or something small but pretty meaty. And I'm gonna put some pretty meaty tires on it as well. The paint color for this car, I want like something like a British racing green, just to try to give it more of those, like a race car vibe. I've got a 350 small block Chevrolet for it, but I want to do side draft Weber carburetors. And then the transmission, I would like to do a Muncie or T56 or something that I can convert to straight cut gears, just to make it completely uncomfortable and unbearable on the street. And then I'd also like to do 180-degree headers on this, so it gives it more of like a Ferrari tone. So this car will be kind of cool, simple, and loud and obnoxious. The next car is a 1969 Datsun 510 wagon. This one is going to be a long-term project for me. There's probably not going to be a whole lot of videos on this. If there is, it's going to be probably scattered pretty far between. This car, I plan on doing an RB of some sort, 20, 30, doesn't really matter. I want to do ITBs, naturally aspirated. I'd like the engine bay to be completely shaved, wiring to be completely shaved, so you kind of look at the engine bay and it's kind of, how does this thing even run? That's what I'd like it to look like. The interior I'd like to be pretty much simple, stock, but 240Z style gauges, just a little bit more sporty. I do also plan on putting a GTR transmission in this, so it'll be four-wheel drive, probably on air ride, so it's more of like a all-around vehicle. I can go up dirt roads, go camping with it. It'll definitely be like a long-term project though, and I will take my time on it and try to make this kind of one of the nicest vehicles I've ever made, is the goal with this one. So this is the next car. A lot of you are probably familiar. This is my 1985 Toyota Corolla. It is displayed as a A86 on the VIN, so that's kind of just what I call it. This car I had gotten for pretty cheap. The original intent with this car was to keep it cheap, throw a whole bunch of motors in it, and kind of just have more fun with it. It was pretty much an empty shell when I got it, so it wasn't like super crazy or super nice or anything, so didn't feel too bad about kind of turning this into what I want to make it. The plan, if you'd seen a previous video, is that I want to put an Atlas 3700 into this car. That is a Chevy Colorado 5-cylinder inline. I'd like for this one to sound more like an old Audi rally car. Kind of just very radical and aggressive and screaming, so that's the plan for next season. And the next one is a 1985 Lincoln Mark 7. This was essentially my first vehicle. I kind of drove around a lot in this, dailied it for quite a while. It had a 302 ProCharge motor in it that made 525 to the wheels. Probably not the best thing for a kid, but I survived and the car survived, so that's all that really matters. It has a Ford 460 big block in it currently that I have ported the heads mildly. I put a pretty good sized Lunati camshaft in it, a single plane intake, and I had a Sniper EFI on it, but I'm still not completely sold on Sniper, so it's got a carburetor sitting on it right now. I need to work on this because there's really not much left to do on this car besides body work and a couple of small things with the engine, make it all a little bit nicer to drive. So this might be a project that comes up pretty soon. Other engines and other kind of similar builds I've seen kind of produce around 600 horsepower, so that's kind of what I'm hoping to get out of this. Will it get there? Probably not, but hey, I'm trying. And the next car we have is my beautiful girlfriend Lizzie's. It is a 1989 Ford Mustang. This was a GT, so it's 5 lug. It has an 8.8 in the back. We got this from a drag racer, and they had already done quite a bit of work to the rear end, so it's been reinforced. It's got strange axles. I don't know if it's a spool or welded. Kind of by looking at everything, it might be a spool. And I believe it's got 373 gears. It does have a cage that was started in it, so that'll save us a little bit of time. We do have to finish the cage. We need the front bars and door bars, and then we're just kind of doing body work. A couple things here and there. This car, we do want to right-hand drive swap it, and it will get an RB20 DET Neo engine. The other kind of cool feature is that we're doing a new Mustang dashboard in it, out of about a 2012 Mustang, so that'll be interesting. And here we have a 1925 Ford Model T, or maybe not a 25, but that's about as close as I can guess the year on it. This is probably the coolest project that I want to start on. I plan on putting a Volkswagen TDI engine into it. I do want to mechanical inject it, convert it to a mechanical injection, and kind of make this an old, I'd like it to look pretty much original, but an old mountain vehicle pretty much. I do want to put Ford 1-ton axles underneath it. I have a massive transfer case that's cast iron, and I'd like to get a transmission that is equally as heavy. The idea being that I'd like to take this anywhere, but I want to get as much weight down low as possible to try to keep it from tipping over, because this will be top heavy, so yeah, try to make it as heavy on the bottom as possible. I do want to extend the cab. I want to add 2 more doors to it, but unlike the old Model T sedans where the rear doors go up into the arches, I'd like for the rear doors to also be a complete door, so it'll be a little bit longer than a standard sedan Model T. I do actually have, this is a 1.6 liter Volkswagen. I don't know if they consider these an IDI or what, but it's mechanically injected, so I plan on using that injection pump on the 1.9. I know it's a little bit of work to get it to fit, but it is possible, so that's the plan. I did actually end up getting this engine to run on just a little jug of diesel, so that's cool. And coming inside out of the cold wind, this is the RB20 that will be going into that Foxbody. This I was previously using in the 8.6. Had a couple hiccups, but started to get them pretty much all figured out by the end of it, and got this running actually really, really good. So now that it's running good, it's gonna go in the Foxbody, and the Atlas will go into the Corolla. This is probably the next project I'm looking forward to the most. This is a CA20DE. So they never actually came from factory like this. This is a I don't know the exact year. I'd say a 1986 Nissan 200SX bottom end. So it's a 2-liter CA single cam bottom end with a, I don't know what the year would be, either a 1985 Nissan NX whatever, CA18DE head off of a front-wheel drive motor. So this is pretty much just a Frankenstein engine. It's just a whole bunch of CA parts stacked together, and then I had put I believe it's a CBR 1000 throttle body setup on it, which is a little bit undersized, and micro squirt was what I was using to run this. The reason that this is kind of back into my view is that I was inspired by Uncle Tony's Garage and David Vizard, as they were trying to make a Mopar 318 with all factory parts that was rated at like 250 horsepower from factory. They were trying to get 1 horsepower per cubic inch out of it without buying anything for the engine. No aftermarket parts, no pistons, no valves, no nothing. Using all standard components, just kind of massaging everything in the right way. So that's probably gonna be the next thing that I do with this, is try to go extreme without spending any money at all on this. A head gasket, and that's probably about it. So, and this is that RB20 Neo head that I was working on in the previous video. That head will actually end up onto the RB20 that was just sitting over there. That bottom end is a Neo bottom end in a 20 DET block. So it's got oil squirters, and I'm gonna pair it with this head. So, and the final car. This is a 2010 Mercedes C300. that I got through auction for extremely cheap. This car I've used in video games back in like 2011, 2012, and I had really good success with, and I kind of fell in love with it. So I picked up this car to create a drift car, more professional drift car for me. I do love 240s. I've drifted them quite a bit, but they are dirty, old, warped, and kind of just outdated, honestly. So this one, I plan on putting a roll cage in, 4 bucket seats, kind of pretty much gutting the interior. I'd want to run an Atlas 4200 in this, and probably a ZF with a straight cut dog ring gear kit from Europe. Kind of build it budget, but also just as professional as possible. So this one, it might be a year or so before I get started on it. It'd be nice to get started on it soon, but I would need another vehicle daily because this is currently being used as my daily. So that pretty much wraps up this video. These are all kind of very brief explanations of all the projects that I have. I could go in way more depth with them, but this video would be way too long. So they're also all projects that are gonna take me quite a while to build. The build series on most of them are gonna be 10 plus videos each, honestly, because there's a lot of work to do. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please let me know what you guys think about this video. If there's anything you guys would do differently, or if you think what I'm doing is kind of crazy and I probably shouldn't be doing it. But yeah, so we will see you guys next Sunday, or this Sunday.